Hey guys! Today I'm going to demonstrate some of my favorite strength training exercises, which I use as a supplement to my running program to help avoid injury and strengthen any weaknesses. So let's jump right in. So let's start with one of my favorite exercises, squat to overhead press. So this is a great full body exercise. It works your lower body, it works your upper body. You keep your core tight, you get a good core workout as well. I like to do this at the end of my runs once or twice a week with a few other strength moves, especially some core moves. But this is definitely a go-to for overall strength and fitness. And here I'm using a 15-pound weighted medicine ball, but you can of course do these without any weight, or you can do these with a dumbbell, whatever suits you best. And here, just so you can see what I'm using. So what I'm about to try to start here once I get Tessa out of the way is kind of a modified burpee. So these are also a good full body exercise. You can do these with a full push-up at the bottom, but I actually like to do these with the weighted medicine ball. It adds a little bit of a stability factor. And again, this is something that gets your heart rate up. It works some of your lower body, some of your upper body, and your core. So if you're just looking for a quick set of workouts or exercises to do at the end of a run just to build up a little strength, this along with the first exercise are one of my go-tos. So a bent over row is one of my favorite upper body exercises to incorporate into my strength training program. This helps work kind of those muscles you use during an arm swing when running, your back and your triceps. So this I love to incorporate at the end of a run as well. So something I want to point out with this exercise is I'm not a trainer or a strength training expert by any means, so my form may not be the best here, especially because my hamstrings are so tight, but this very light-weighted deadlift is something I like to use when I'm feeling a little bit weak or tight in the hamstrings and the glutes. This gives you a very good stretch along your posterior chain. It gives you a little bit of a back and core workout as well, as long as you keep everything tight. And this is something that will help strengthen your hamstrings and your glutes, which are very important to proper running form. So here I'm only using two 10-pound plates. Sometimes I do this exercise with heavier weights, and you can of course go heavier if you want to. But at least to start out, I like to warm up and begin my exercises with low weight, and if you haven't done this exercise before, it's good to use a lower weight to help you focus on your form. Make sure you have a flat, straight back, and you're lifting from the hips. So this next one is kind of a classic for a lot of runners. This is a weighted Russian twist. So I'm using that 15-pound medicine ball that I had before. So you're balancing kind of on your glutes here, your legs are up in the air, and you're moving that weight from side to side past your hips on either side. And this is working, of course, through your core and your obliques to strengthen that central area that's really important to maintaining good upright running form, especially when you start to get tired. So, of course, a regular old plank is also great for stability work, and I often like to do mine with my hands braced on that 15-pound medicine ball for extra stability work. After a regular plank, I like to move into this exercise for my core to kind of mix things up. So here I'm bringing my knee to my chest, alternating right and left, and I'm also bringing my knee out to the side to my elbow, alternating right and left to work my obliques a little bit as well. So if you're somebody who gets bored by doing a regular plank for more than a minute or two, this is a good way to finish off a regular plank to kind of mix things up. So first of all, please excuse the horrible film quality here. There wasn't a good place in my yard to film box jumps from. So I'm actually doing box jumps up on the edge of my porch, which is about 2 or 2.5 feet off the ground. And this is a really good move for working on that explosive power and lower body strength. So this is something I like to do at the end of an easy run or an off day where, you know, I haven't stressed these muscles very much so far, and I want to get in a little bit more power and explosive work into my workout. So I promise this is the last exercise with this horrible, awkward film angle, but I also wanted to show you this move. This is a weighted step up with a knee drive. So again, this is on the edge of my porch, 2 to 3 feet off the ground. I have those 10-pound plates in my hand. You don't have to use weights at all for this exercise if you don't want to, and you could of course go heavier if you want to as well. But I like to work in at least some single leg exercises like this to make sure that my right and left side remain balanced. So doing these isolated right and left exercises can help balance things out if you're feeling a little bit tighter on one side or a little bit weaker. And finally, I often do these banded exercises. So here I have a heavy resistance black resistance band just above my knees, and I'm trying to stay low in kind of a semi-squat and take these steps from right to left. And this really focuses on your piriformis and your hips and your glutes, where I often have some pain and weakness. So this is a way to kind of strengthen those accessory muscles that are so important to running that don't always get the love and attention that they deserve. So these exercises are great to do pretty much whenever you have time. Throw these into your workout. And this is pretty much the same move, except this time the band is around my ankles, which, as you can tell by my stance, makes this exercise much, much harder. So you can use this as a progression if the other one feels too easy. So this one looks a little bit weird, at least to me, but I've had problems before with my hip flexor as well. So having this band around my ankles and practicing that knee drive up that happens often when you're running and when you're running fast helps strengthen that front area of my hip where my hip flexor is. So this is something I use to help balance out my right and left side as well, doing one leg at a time. So here I still have the band around my ankles, and I'm doing very small kind of kickbacks. So this is another way, a different angle to work kind of your hip and glute area if you're having pain or you're feeling some weakness and you want to try to strengthen those accessory muscles. This is also something you do one leg at a time, so you get to work on any imbalances or any discrepancies you have on the right and left side. So this is the last exercise and, of course, the last banded exercise. So this again is very similar to some of the other banded exercises where I'm focusing on my piriformis and my hips and my glutes. So this time I have the band around my knees, above my knees again, around my thighs. And I'm doing leg raises out to the side here. So this is really focusing on the outside, the lateral side of your hip. So if your pain or weakness is a little bit more in that area, this is one exercise that you can use to strengthen that area specifically. So hopefully that was helpful. Thank you guys for watching, and of course let me know if you have any questions or comments down below.